Hey guys, it's Doc. Do you like to shop? I really don't myself, unless something's on sale. And if something's on sale, then I can shop. So today we're going to talk about how you can know what price something is without having to take it to the register. Let's start off with an idea first. Okay, first of all, you need to understand that when you pay for something, you're paying 100% of the price. When it's not on sale, it's 100% of the price. Now, if you pay 10%, or if you see a sign that says 10% off, let's say you go in and you see a sign that says 10% off, then that means you're going to end up paying 90% of the price. See how these two add up to 100? What if it's 20% off? Now, I gave you a hint already. How much would you pay if it's 20% off? You would pay 80%. Again, these two always add to 100. So you take your 100 minus 20, and that is what you're paying. 25% off, you would pay 75%. And what about 50% off? That's the kind of sale I like. Anything over 50%. 50% off, you're going to pay, guess what? 50%. Because they have to add up to be 100. Okay, now, put in the chat for me. If something is 30% off, how much are you going to pay? What's the percentage that you're going to pay? Put it in the chat. Now I want you to put in the chat, if you're going to pay for something and it's 90% off, how much are you going to pay for? You can put that in the chat. Now, let's look and see how much it would be. You're going to pay 10%. 90% off is quite a deal, and you're going to pay 10% only. Let's do a little shopping. Let's say that we walk into a store and we see this really nice Nike shirt that we would like to have. We look at the tag and it's $62. At that time we don't quite have $62. We're going to buy something for ourselves, but we only have $50. Then we look up and we notice when we look up that there's a sign that says it's 60% off. That's a good sale. That's a sale that I would like to go to. So 60% off, what percent would we be paying for if it's 60% off? Do you remember? We will pay 40%. Now we need to change our price to a little bit of a friendly number so we can work with it a little better and just do it in our head while we're standing there at the rack and we're looking at it. So I'm just going to think, well, this is probably $60. $60, and I'm going to pay 40% of it. Remember how to do that? We're going to cut the zeros and multiply 6 times 4, and it is now $24. Not only do I have enough money, but I have some left over. Now let's check our calculator, because most of us either are with somebody that has a phone or has a phone ourselves that we can use a calculator. So this is how we would actually find the price. In the calculator, you would take $62 times, and then you're going to put in your 40%. Remember, you're putting in what you pay for, not what's the discount. And that gives us $24.80. So you can see we were pretty close here when we estimated. some other examples. I'm going to zoom in here so you can see this a little better. Okay, now I'll zoom back out when I work on the price. So here we have a pair of AirPods. And they're white, they're second generation, and they're $99. 20% off. So I'm going to see if maybe I might want to purchase those for the discount price. So I'm going to zoom back out. Whoop. Out, not in, sorry. There we go. Okay, I'm going to zoom back out. Now, it's $99, so you call your mom, you say, there's a pair of AirPods here that are awesome, I'd really like to have them. She's going to say, how much are they? You're going to say about $100. $99 is real close to $100. And we see it's 20% off. So can you remember what we do if it's 20% off? What percent are we going to pay for? 80%. And how I can get that estimate is I knock off the 2 zeros on the end and I just take 10 times 8 and I'll get $80. So my sales price for my AirPods would be about $80. Let's take a look at another. So Uncle Jim says to me, I've been a pretty good kid this year. I've kept my grades up, listening to my parents. I'm gonna buy me an Apple iPhone 11 Pro Max 64 gigabyte midnight green, because green's my favorite color, and it is $1,099. When he sees how expensive it is, he's like, oh, that's a little bit steep. I really wasn't quite prepared to pay that much. Then the Christmas time shopping sales start coming on, and you see that they are advertising this phone for 25% off. Let's see how much it would be when it's 25% off. Now this is $1,099, kind of difficult to work with. I'm going to round that to $1,100. And it is 75% off. So if it's, or I'm sorry, 25% off. So I gave you the answer. It's going to be 75% that we're going to pay. Now, you remember I said cut a 0 off of each, but we don't have a 0 here, so I can't just get rid of the 5. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a 0 off of here, and I can cut another 0 off of here. Now, we'll take a look at the other way to do it in case we don't have another 0 to cut off, okay? So now we're at 11 times 75. That's a little easier to multiply. So let's multiply. We get 5 and 5. We put our filler 0 in here. And then multiply by 7, 7 and 7. And when I add straight down, I have 5, 2, and 8. $825. That's a lot less than what I was going to pay before. So that might be worth giving our uncle a call to see if now he would buy it for us. Now, let's take a look at our phones again. And in our phones, let's see how close we are to that price. Now again, if we have our phones on us, then it's a lot easier. We can say that we're going to put in the actual price, $1,099, and we're going to times it. What are we timesing it by, multiplying it by? Not 25%, we're multiplying it by 75% because that's how much we're paying for. and that is $824.25. That's pretty close to our estimate. So if you have your phone with you, then of course it's much easier to get that price real quick. But if not, you can do it this other way for an estimate. How about a couple more? How about this hoverboard? So I have this hoverboard. I'm taking a look at it, and I see that it's $99.98. Okay? 40% off. That's a nice percentage off too. So $99.98. If I were to tell somebody how much was the hoverboard when I buy it, I would say it's about $100. So again, we're working with $100. And it's 40% off. So I'm going to pay what? Put the amount in the chat. I'm going to pay 60%. And when I do that, take my 100 and I multiply it by 60. Don't forget, since I'm doing percentages, I can just knock off a 0 and I can see that I can just estimate it to be $60. Now once again, let's see how close we are by taking our calculators and putting it in our calculator. I have $99.98 times, not 40%, times 60, because the 60 is what I'm going to pay. 60, hit the percent key, and that's $59, actually $59.99, very, very close to 60. So this was a really good estimate that I can do, and I'm betting if you practice this, that you can do this without a calculator. Let's do a couple more. There's a PS4, PlayStation, $279.99. This one's a little more complicated because the price doesn't have any zeros in it, but maybe I can round it. So I would say rounding this to $280 would be good. Now, you might say, well, what about 300? And we might round it to 300 just to compare to see how close we get if we use 300. But 280 is much closer. All right, this is advertised as 30% off. So remember earlier I asked you if something's 30% off, what percent are you paying for? And your answer was 70%. So we're going to multiply this by 70. And here again, I can cut my zeros off. So now I'm going to multiply and I get 56. 14 plus 5 is 196. $196. That's better than $279. Okay, let's see if I used the 300 if I would have been close. Because 300 I could probably do in my head. 300, 70%, 3 times 7 is 21. So that would be $210. Again, 300, 3 times 7, because it's 70%, that would be $210. Now let's see how close we are to the actual sale price. If I take my $279.99 and I'm multiplying that, again, I multiply it by 70% because that's what I'm paying for, I get $195.99. So you can see our estimate when we took it to 28 is very close. Now, it might be a little harder to multiply this in your head than it is this. And this will still give you an idea. It's $210 that it's going to, and then you'd have to realize, well, I put that price up a bit, so it's going to be less than that. You could do it that way. But if you have your phone, you can just put it in your phone. Just make sure you always multiply by the percentage that you're paying for, not the percent off. One more. I want you to do this one. Here's a Spalding NBA marble basketball. $19.99 is the price. First question is, what friendly number would you round that to? Put your answer in the chat. $20 would be a nice number to round that to. Now this basketball is 75% off. What percent would you be paying for if it's 75% off? Put the answer in the chat. 25%. Now, when I multiply this, I can't cut off two zeros because I only have one here. So I'm actually going to have to put this decimal back one here. If I can't cut a zero off, I have to move the decimal back. So I'm not real comfortable with multiplying like this. So I'm going to put my 2.5 on the top times 2 on the bottom and then multiply one decimal place, and I see that I can actually get this basketball for $5. So it's a little trickier when your percentages are like 75 or 25 or something like that, but you can still do it. It's still doable. Again, if you have a phone or if you're with someone that has a phone, you can always pull out the phone. And we're going to put in our $19.99 times 25%. And I get $5 when I round this to the nearest cent. This is going to round up to $5. So my estimate is very, very close. So that's good. Now, I hope you learned something today. It's always important when you do go to the store, take a little bit of time, especially if you have a phone or if you're with a friend that has a phone. Go take a look at the sale rack and practice a couple of these. Check those sale price stickers to make sure they're right. A lot of times they can be off. So you might think you're getting 40% off because that's what the sign says, but they may be only giving you 20% off. So take a look at it and see. Okay, for your attendance question at the end today, I'm going to ask you if you could buy anything you wanted to. If you could buy anything you wanted to, but you knew you didn't have the money for it, what would you want to see go on sale? If you could buy anything you wanted, what would you want to see go on sale? Okay, this is Doc, and I will talk to you next time. Take care, and peace out.